So yeah, so and the board 3 negates on Herald, Unicorn, and Ash. So pretty solid, and we played through Droll if they had it. What's up guys, it's your boy Kazaris back with a TCG deck profile today, and I'm going to be showing off the new Drytrons. They just got brand new support in the newest set, Lightning Overdrive. Now I'm going to be going through the deck profile as well as some combos, so a few things changed for those who haven't been keeping up. And the deck is really cool now, much more functional than it was in the past after the ban list. So let's get right into it. So 17 Drytrons, we have 3 Alpha, we have 3 Zeta, we have 2 Delta, and we have 1 Gamma. Now, I like these ratios because you want hard names to kind of like play through Droll to a certain extent, because you want to just have them in your hand without having to search them with like Cyber Emergency or something. And I like these because, especially if they get banished, you'll just have more names to keep going throughout the duel. So I cut down on the field spell in favor of just like 1 extra Delta. So as far as the other names go, I have 3 Cyber Emergency, a Foolish Burial, 3 Drytron Nova, and 1 field spell. So 17 total. I feel like that's a really good number, especially with 3 Pot of Prosperity. You will almost always be seeing your Alpha Zeta combo. And even if you don't see Alpha and Zeta, Alpha Delta with like a Diviner or a Ritual spell will do it. Or even just like Gamma to get to your Xyz to send an Alpha or a Zeta to make some sort of board is typically very solid. So you have all these here. The field spell, it just 3 field spell and 3 Nova is like more copies, but having field spell Nova together doesn't work. Whereas like having like Nova Emergency works or field spell Emergency works, because field spell with Nova, field spell is only getting Nova. So you basically just have 2 copies of Nova. So with 3 field spell, you have 6 copies of Nova, and Nova with itself doesn't really work. So like I cut down on field spell to play more like going first cards, and to just have room for the Pot of Prosperities, because Pot of Prosperity will like get you to whatever piece you need. So this also loses us to like Trident, which Leolusk is, or not Leolusk, Tri-Brigade is now using Zoo cards. So having a searcher that loses to Trident isn't very good. Like this is like kind of your tanky. So just having more raw copies of the Drytrons and less field spell, I think, is pretty solid overall. So 17 Drytrons, and of course the 1 ritual spell. I'm only playing 1 just because you don't want to draw it, you want to search it. And if you're playing the Herald of Perfection build, you have the Dawn of the Herald anyway. So like, especially in that, you don't want to play 2, but like even in normal Drytron with like the Herald of Ultimate in this build, I still just want to play 1 Meteor's Drytron. So moving on to the fairies, you have the brand new 3 Diviner of the Herald. This is the new card in the set for those who don't know what it does. When it is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, which in this case will be our Herald of the Arclight. It'll gain it'll gain the levels of the monster you send. So if we send Herald of the Arclight, it'll become level 6, which we can then use it to make Beatrice with an Edatin or Benten. And Herald, when we send it to the graveyard, will search us a ritual monster or spell. So if we don't open, like if we open 2 Drytrons, but 1 isn't Zeta or Alpha, if we open like Zeta and Delta or Alpha and Delta, but we have the Diviner, this can like normal summon to search like the missing piece, and then with the Drytrons, we should be able to get to Gamma, which can, or not Gamma, to Mu Beta, the new Xyz, which can send like the missing piece. So like Diviner with 1 Drytron and like a ritual spell or ritual monster will give you the combo. So like normally Alpha Zeta is a 2-card combo to do the whole thing, but Diviner with like 2 other cards can get you there as well. And then I'm playing 3 Herald of the Orange Light as well as 2 Eva. I'm playing 2 Eva just because it's good to open, especially in conjunction with Herald of the Arclight. It's a level 1, so you can make your Zeus play or your Drytron Xyz with it. So that's good as well. It's a decent normal summon. As well as just for the combo, the main combo, you Beatrice send it on your turn, and then you Beatrice send it on your opponent's turn to grab extra fairies. So in the main combo, you want to have 2, but also it's just fine to open, I believe. And then moving on to your rituals. So I am still playing Natasha. We lost to Benten, of course, but I added Edatin. And Edatin along with Diviner will make you Beatrice. And Edatin also gives you another Cyber Angel to use with Natasha. So some builds are like only playing like Ben 10, Herald, and the Megalith, which is decent, but like you have to overlay with the Ben 10. Whereas when I add the Edatin, it's an extra ritual, so you can still tribute it for a Drytron even if you draw it. And it allows you to play Natasha, which is extremely good still, and you get to steal 2 cards that you're put. Like if you go for the Natasha play on the follow-up, on the following turn, you get to steal 2 of your opponent's monsters by banishing Edatin or Ben 10, Edatin and Ben 10. So it's just extremely good. Natasha just puts on so much pressure, and having access to it still is just very good for the deck, especially if you're like going second. You could just go for Natasha instead of Herald. 3 Product Prosperity, should be 3. I only have 2 at the moment. I borrowed a 3rd one at a local the other night. But I will get the 3rd one eventually. It's just such a huge consistency boost for the deck overall. Just being able to, like, majority of the time, banishing 3 to reveal 3 will almost always get you a Drytron. But like on the off chance that it doesn't and you really need one, you will have to banish 6. So some cards in the extra deck are kind of just like, not throwaway, but just like a little excessive, but keep in mind that you're going to be banishing a lot off of Pot of Prosperity anyway. And then finally, we have 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Dark Ruler No More, and then I'm also playing a Call By and an Instant Fusion. So these are like going second cards, and these are your play insulators for when you're going first. They help push your plays through hand traps. But even going second, these are fine, because like you can just Instant Fusion to summon Millennium Eyes Restrict, and then like if your opponent has like a board of monsters and they let the Instant Fusion go through, now if they try to activate a monster effect, you can chain Millennium Eyes to target that monster to take it, and then the chain will resolve backwards and it will negate the monster effect that they tried to just negate with. So like this is kind of like a play interrupter even going second, so it's kind of decent. And then Called By, like it's better going first as same thing as Instant Fusion, but like even going second against a board of like Lear or Tri-Brigade Zoo, if they end on like Drytron with hand traps, you still want to have the Call By the Grave for the hand traps that they'll try to use to stop you on your turn. So like it's not bad at all. And then like if you are going second game 2, you can side these out for going second cards, or if you're going first game 2, you can side these out for going first cards, which I'll get into in a little bit. So I think having these 8 is nice. It is 41, I believe, with 3. It's right now it's 40, but with the 3rd Prosperity, it's 41, which is absolutely fine, especially in this deck. So that is the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, our links, we have Link Karibo, IP Masquerena, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn, Access Code Talker, and Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. I think these are all you need. There is the new Lina, the Light Charmer link that I want to test out over maybe the Phoenix. But you need Link Karibo for the Drytron Nova play. You need IP Masquerena because we are not playing the Drytron Ritual Monster. There is a build that I will talk about at the end that I'm going to test as well, but for now I think this is very solid. We need IP because that's our ending board. Phoenix is just great to out back row. Like if going second, we can go into Phoenix, into Unicorn, into Access Code to like try and push through back row and stuff, which is really solid. Unicorn you make with IP, Access Code you make on the following turn if your Unicorn sticks. And then Appaloosa, some boards we can make after, if we get hand trapped to death, we can sometimes end on just Appaloosa, and sometimes that's enough. Or if our board is absolutely insane, if we get access to all 4 Drytron monsters on turn 1, we can maybe make Appaloosa sometimes. Or if our opponent tries to force the Masquerena and we don't want a Unicorn, we can just like link into Appaloosa as well, and it can't be destroyed by battle. So, or it can't be destroyed by card effects. So I think Appaloosa is extremely good. I'm still testing it. That might be a flex spot. Now for the Xyz, we have the new Drytron, Moo Beta Fafnir, Leerless Link, Downward Magician, Beatrice, and Zeus. Now this card is extremely good. For those who don't know what it does, on special summon, you will be able to send any Drytron monster from your deck to the graveyard. So typically you'll be sending Gamma, but like if your hand is like weird and you need a combo in a weird way, you can send like Alpha or Zeta as well. And then if you were to ritual summon, you can detach the proper materials from him instead of tributing. So you use 2 monsters to make him, and then you can still use those monsters that are under him as ritual material, which is just absolutely insane. His last effect is if you control a machine ritual monster, when your opponent activates a spell or trap, you can detach a material from him to negate it, which is a really good effect as well, but we are not ending on a machine ritual monster in this deck, so we will not be using that really. I am playing the Leerlisk over the Kina, whatever the hell its name is, the other bird, because this only needs to detach one material to protect itself from battle and card effects. Sure, the bird is unaffected by everything, but when you use the effect, you have to detach two. And I don't know, just detaching one typically makes this live. Like if you get hand trapped and you just want to sit on that, it's fine. And then it'll still be able to attack directly, and then you can go into Downard and then into Zeus, and the Zeus will have 3 materials. So like if you had to protect with Lyrilusk, Zeus will have 3 materials, you get 1 effect, then if something on your field dies, you'll be able to attach something from deck and then have another activation on Zeus. Or even if you don't need to protect, you still get 2 materials, go into Downard and go into Zeus with 2 activations on Zeus. So I think playing Downard still is extremely good just for that second Zeus activation. It's extremely value, and even if you don't need this, you can just banish it off of Prosperity anyway. That's typically what it's there for, but it is there to give Zeus 2 activations if needed. And then finally, the Beatrice. You make this with Herald, or Diviner of the Heralds, which will be level 6 if you use its effect, and Edatin, and then you will detach material to send the Eva to search more fairies. So this card is extremely good, and you'll typically be linking this off with IP, using IP's effect. So you'll send some fairies and then link it off for Unicorn. And then finally, just like the 3 Herald targets and the instant fusion target. So I am playing 2 Herald because and an Intist, because like going second, having Herald just be like on normal summon, send a Tist, target card your opponent controls, destroy it. It's just extremely good for baiting things out. You just summon Herald, pop a card. Like it's really good to deal with floodgates that way. Like if they activate like anti-spell or order, you can just normal summon Herald and then set an Intist and pop it, and then have Herald still be level 6. It's just extremely good. Or you can have on your turn, like going first, you'll send Herald, and then on the second turn, sometimes you might need to send the other one to search into Tasha. Or you can just banish one of these off of Prosperity and then have the second one still as well. Typically, your Prosperity targets, like going first, like if you want to do just 3, it's Millenniumize, a Herald, and a Downard most likely, especially if you're going first. But like going second, if you really need to see Dark Ruler, you can banish like the Millenniumize, the Herald, the Downard, like an Appaloosa, a Phoenix, and like Beatrice if you're going second, just because like you really want to see Dark Ruler, and you just will probably just be killing them with Natasha anyway. But you still want to have like the utility of the Herald to either search or pop whatever you need. So I believe the extra deck is correct. There's maybe 1 or 2 flex spots in Phoenix and Appaloosa, but I believe everything else is very strong, especially since like majority of the time you're going to be banishing some of them off of Prosperity anyway. You have like three flex spots that are kind of just changeable. And then extra deck, or a side deck, I'm just going to show some options. This is what I was playing for my local 3 Phantasme, because Dragon Link is still a thing. Dig for your Dark Ruler, very, very good card. 3 Lancia, decent against Dino, good against Invoked. Search it off of Ben 10 also as well. So that's pretty cool. And Nibiru is an option, not a bad card. Pankratops or Alpha is a solid card because you can just special summon it. If they summon Droll Savage in defense, it's 25 defense, so you can just beat over it and then pop something else. Twin Twisters, Harpies, those are really good. And then I really like this card, Solemn Judgment, because going first game 2 or 3, you're going to be siding. You have 3 cards that you want to side out, mainly being the Dark Rulers. Everything else you kind of want to just keep in because it's combo. So if you just side out the Dark Rulers, put in the Judgments, now you just have your Herald backed up by Judgment, so you can negate a Dark Ruler or a Droplets from your opponent. It's just extremely strong. Or like even if they stop you, you can just set a Judgment and just have that be your plate, like a Judgment with like an Ash or something, a Judgment with like a Herald to just stop them on their turn. It's kind of nuts. So I really like the Judgments. It was performing really well on yesterday and Wednesday and Thursday night. It was extremely good. It's just the logic is Dark Ruler you have in the main because you can't control if you go first or second, but if you do go first, you keep in the hand trap stoppers and you put in the Solemns. Extremely good. You can even like side in 1 Lancia as well if you want to search it for the matchup because it is searchable. So those are good options. Droll could be a side deck card as well. Alpha is another good one I was saying. Trying to think off the top of my head. Evenly is not bad. Droplet should maybe be in the main over Dark Ruler, but like, I don't know. I'm always back and forth on Droplet and Dark Ruler because Dark Ruler is just 1 card, negate a whole board, but you can't deal damage, whereas Droplet can be quick play, It doesn't target as well. It can half attack and you can still deal damage. So if you resolve Droplet and your opponent doesn't have a huge board, you just negate like 1 or 2, you can still kill them that turn maybe. But whereas like Dark Ruler can hit like 3 cards just for the price of 1, and then you have the rest of the 5 cards in your hand to play with. So like Dark Ruler is decent, but against like Dweller, like if Dino makes Dweller, then I almost always wish I had Droplet, because Dweller kind of just shuts down this deck. Like I can Dark Ruler the rest of their field, but I'm still under Dweller, so it's kind of rough. So Droplet I think is probably still a tiny bit marginally better, but Dark Ruler is a very solid substitute as well. So that's the list. So now we're gonna get into some combos. So I'll show off the basic combo and maybe some variations if you get some weird hands. All right, so standard combo, all you need is Alpha and Zeta. You can have Nova to get to it. You can have Emergency, doesn't matter, just some way to get to Alpha and Zeta together. So you'll start with Alpha, you'll tribute the Zeta in your hand. You will add the Ben 10 to your hand. You will activate the Zeta. You will tribute the Ben 10. You will special summon the Zeta to search the ritual spell. And Ben 10 will then search you a light fairy, which will be the diviner. You will, you can do a couple steps here. I typically like to go for the Xyz first, just to see if it baits a hand trap. So you'll go for the Xyz here. On summon, he will send the Gamma from the deck to the graveyard. Have it all organized still. And now you will activate the ritual spell, detach a material from the Xyz instead to summon the Ben 10 back from the graveyard. And then you'll activate the ritual spell, target the Xyz to add it back to your hand by reducing the Xyz attack by 1,000. So this is now 1,000 attack. We have the ritual back in our hand. Now we can activate the Gamma in the graveyard, tribute the Ben 10 to summon itself and the Zeta, and then we'll trigger Ben 10. Ben 10 will activate to add us an Edaton. Now we can normal summon the Herald. I'm not playing around hand traps here, I'm just showing the standard combo. Normal summon the Herald, activate the Herald's effect, send Herald of the Arclight, so now it becomes level 6. We trigger Herald of the Arclight to add us a Herald of Ultimateness. We'll activate the ritual spell to detach from the Xyz again, to summon the Edaton, activate the Edaton's effect, add back the ritual spell to our hand. We can overlay the Diviner and the Edaton for the Beatrice. And then we can activate Beatrice's effect, detach the Diviner specifically, because we want to banish 2. So we'll detach Diviner, we'll send Eva, which will be able to search another Diviner and a Herald by banishing, so banish 2 fairies and then banish 2 light fairies from your graveyard, search 2 level 2 or lower light fairies with different names. So add the orange and the Diviner, and then we can activate the ritual spell to tribute whatever 2,000 attack light machine we have to summon the Herald. And then we can link the Gamma and the, whatever else we didn't tribute to make an IP. Now we have a board of IP, Herald of Ultimateness, and Beatrice with 2 fairies in hand on our opponent's. Oh, sorry, this is in the graveyard. With 2 fairies in hand, bare minimum, just off of that 2-card combo. On our opponent's turn, we can detach the Edaton to send another Eva. Now, Eva can banish Eva, it just can't banish it exactly itself, so it can still banish the other Eva here. So we can at least banish 1. If we want to keep 2 Cyber Angels in the graveyard for Natasha, we have to leave the Edaton. But you can also just banish the Edaton if you want an extra fairy. But I think majority of the time it's more valuable to leave both Edaton and Ben 10 in the graveyard. Just in case they have like Dark Ruler or Droplets to stop your Herald, then it's just like, well, there's kind of no point to searching 3 or 2 anyway there. So you'll grab another Herald here. Now you'll have 3 negates with 3 other cards in your hand. And depending what they were, you might even have been able to extend further and gain more advantage. So just bare minimum 2-card combo, 3 fairies in hand, to 3 negates on Herald, and IP into Unicorn to discard any of your other cards. So very solid board. And now let's do a weird combo where we open like 1 Drytron, but we have a Diviner as well. All right, and for combo number 2, this is just assuming you open 1 Drytron along with Diviner and any ritual. Let's just say in this case you open Herald of Ultimateness. So you kind of do the combo backwards. You make Beatrice first, and then you make Mu Beta. So we're going to null summon the Diviner. Diviner effect is It's going to activate the Send Herald. Activate the Herald. We're going to grab the Ben 10, wherever she be. There she is. Going to activate the Zeta, tribute the Ben 10. We're going to summon the Zeta. We're going to search the ritual spell. And Ben 10 is going to search the Edaton. So right next to each other, nice. We're going to activate the Meteonis Drytron. We're going to tribute the Zeta. We're going to summon the Edaton. Edaton is going to add back the Meteonis Drytron from the graveyard. Very nice. We're going to overlay these two for the Beatrice. And now Beatrice is not going to be able to send the Eva here. We're going to have to send a Drytron with her. So that's why Beatrice is really good. She has multiple uses. We're going to put her over in the far zone here. Now we're going to send Gamma with her, right? Because Gamma will give us access. So this is why we need the other ritual, because without another ritual, we wouldn't have a way to get the Gamma on the field. And if we had another Drytron, we wouldn't have to do this in the first place. So if we had another Drytron, we'd make Mu Beta first, but because we specifically only had one Drytron, we need another ritual monster. So Gamma is going to tribute the Herald to summon the Zeta here. And we're going to overlay for the Mu Beta because we already made the Beatrice. Now Mu Beta is going, oh, not detached. On summon, he's just going to send the Alpha, I believe, just to get extra searches. And then we're going to activate the Meteonis Drytron that we have back in our hand from the Edaton. Detach the Gamma, doesn't really matter what we detach. Summon back the Ben 10. We're going to activate the Meteonis Drytron, reduce the Mu Beta by 1,000 life points, add this back to our hand. We're going to activate the Alpha. We're going to tribute the Ben 10 to summon it. Ben 10 and Alpha will search. We're going to add us a Natasha, and we're going to add, in this case, I believe, I'm going to add an Eva. Yeah. I'm going to add an Eva because we already have the Herald in the graveyard. And adding an Eva will allow us to discard it with the Herald of Ultimateness, and then Beatrice will send the second one from the deck. So we're going to activate our ritual spell again, detach from Mu Beta. We're going to summon the Herald here. So we're going to summon the Herald, and then we're going to link these two off for an IP. So now we have Herald with 2 negates, which will be more because Beatrice is going to detach the Edaton on our opponent's turn to dump another Eva to the graveyard. We're going to grab Diviner and Herald, wherever they are. Diviner's right there. So Eva is going to banish the Diviner and the Herald in the grave to add these 2 to hand. And now we have 4 negates off of Beatrice. Eva will also get more because we're going to discard Herald first. And then we're going to discard the Eva, and this one will be able to banish the Herald and the Eva from the grave to get 2 more. So we really have 6 negates here, as well as or potential 5 negates into Unicorn and a Shuffle. So kind of backwards there, and it's a 3-card combo, but we can technically combo with just 1 Drytron, a Diviner, and one of our ritual monsters. If it's specifically Ben 10, we can do it with Alpha, but it's a little bit weirder because we have to go Herald to send the ritual spell, and then we can Alpha tribute Ben 10, grab a Herald and grab grab a Herald and grab an Eva, and then, or grab a Edaton, grab an Eva, and then we can ritual summon that way. So we can do it with Alpha too, but it has to specifically be Ben 10, whereas with the Zeta it can be anything because we can send Diviner to get the Ben 10 instead of having to open Ben 10. So that's that combo, and now let's do an actual test hand and try and play through some hand traps. Shuffled up, we're gonna draw here. Okay, so we have Delta, Zeta, and now it's just a matter of if we want to grab Gamma or Alpha with this. So if we're trying to play through Droll and we're trying to play safe, if we grab Gamma and they don't Droll, we also still want to be able to combo. So we can go grab Gamma, tribute Delta, summon Gamma, summon Delta, make Fafnir, and then that's Zeta Alpha, right? Yeah, that's Zeta Alpha. So that should be combo. That should be combo. So yeah, if we grab, so we go emergency, we grab the Gamma here. If they Droll us, we can just Gamma, send the Delta, make a Lyrilusk. It can't die by battle or card effects. We also have Ash into Dark Ruler on the follow-up. If they don't Droll us here, we can go tribute Delta, summon Gamma, summon Delta, overlay both these for Mu Beta, and then Mu Beta will send Alpha to the grave. And now we have Mu Beta already on the field with Alpha and Zeta in the graveyard. So we're gonna go Alpha summon. This is Ben 10. So Zeta summon, tribute the Ben 10, add the Medionis, Ben 10 will add the Diviner. And now we can go normal summon Diviner. Diviner send Herald to the grave. Herald effect will grab us an Edaton. A little backwards, but this will work. Edaton here. And now we still have Delta effect. So we're gonna go activate Medionis to detach specifically Delta because that's the one we haven't used yet. And we're gonna summon this Ben 10. So now we have a field full of dudes. I can still activate Delta to tribute the Ben 10, summon it, reveal the Medionis. We get a blank card here. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's not bad though. We trigger the Ben 10, we add the Herald here. So that's the one we need still. And now we can link off these two for an IP. So link that IP right there. There's a Beatrice. We go Medionis, detach from the Mu Beta to special the Edaton, and then Edaton will just add back the Medionis to our hand. We're going to overlay these two for a Beatrice. We're going to activate the Beatrice. We're going to detach the Diviner. We're going to send the Eva to the graveyard. And now Eva will get us a Herald and a Diviner by banishing the Herald and the Diviner. So very nice. Banish those. We get these, we activate the Medionis. We don't have any materials left under the Mu Beta, but we do have this. So we go there, link. I didn't declare Medionis targeting Mu Beta to reduce his attack by 1,000. I ritual summoned 3 times on accident, so I skipped that step, but that's how we ritual summon 3 times, while technically only having the ritual twice. So now this will be in the graveyard because we just ritual summoned the Herald. And now we attempted to play through Droll if they had it. If they did have it, again, we would just Gamma, tribute Delta, summon back Delta, make Leerlusk, pass on that. They can't die by battle or card effects. And then we have Ash to interrupt them as well with a Dark Lord to follow up. So if they're not able to kill us through that board, we have Dark Lord to negate whatever they put up, and then we had Gamma, Delta, Zeta still, so that was a combo. That would make Mu Beta send Alpha, and then we had Alpha, Zeta. So that's how we play through Droll there. But if they didn't have Droll, and even if we tried to play it and they didn't have it, we just make the Mu Beta, send the Alpha, then we have Alpha, Zeta, as you saw. So yeah, so and the board 3 negates on Herald, Unicorn, and Ash. So pretty solid, and we played through Droll if they had it. So yeah, and that's gonna do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts about the deck in the comment section down below. I definitely really enjoyed Drytrons. It was kind of sad when the Ben 10 got hit, but I'm glad they're back, especially with their Broken Xyz, and Diviner is nothing to laugh at either. So enjoy your coffees, enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.